Hi, everyone. Thanks for your interest and time in this session. I'm going to talk about compliance analytics solution from DiLytics. This solution called compliance analytics from DiLytics will allow companies that come under the FDA regulation, to Food and Drug Administration regulations, to be compliant with FDA rules and laws. Especially there is a FDASIA Act that came a couple of years back, and companies within the FDA regulated space need to be compliant with FDASIA Act. There is a deadline either in 2015 or 2016 by which companies like food processing companies and drug manufacturers have to be compliant with FDASIA Act by that deadline. Our solution is pre-integrated with a compliance solution from Sparta System by the name Trackwise. Our solution is able to export data from Trackwise and load it into a database or a data warehouse, and then provide analytics on that data from the data warehouse on dashboards and reports. So I'm going to jump into a live demo to show you the compliance analytics dashboard product. I'm accessing the dashboard link here and seeing compliance analytics as one of the dashboards. I'm going to click on that, and it takes us to a dashboard with many different tabs. The first one is out of specification. It tells us for each of the products in our company how many out of specification incidents were reported for different months. Now, I also would want to drill down into this out of specification incidents to see what those incident details were, and I can see for Maxwell product when the incident occurred, what are the unique ID, which division and site, and so on. After that, I return back to the dashboard. We also see the same data for out of specification incidents in the form of graphs and charts. Next, I'm going to go to product complaint rate. Here I see the complaints received for each of the products across different months in a pivot table format. I also see that in a tree map. In the pivot table, I'm going to drill down on this 26 complaints for Dilene, and I'm seeing all the details of the complaints in terms of when it was reported, what is the PRID, division, and so on. And I'm going to use the link to go back to the main dashboard. And moving on to deviations per day, this tells us how many deviations in our production process were observed for different products across different time periods. And each of the dashboard pages or tabs have filters that we can choose from to filter the data set that we want to look at. In this case, we also have a bubble chart that tells us, as we move across different months using the slider, which products had how many deviations per day. Now, we also may want to drill down into the deviations using this link. And as I drill down on PowerGel, it tells us the 4 deviations in the month of April for PowerGel. And then we use the link to come back to the main dashboard. Next, I'm going to look at product complaint closure rate. This tells us how many product complaints were closed for each of the products across months, how many were closed on time, and the percentage of complaints that were closed within the due date. So 100% closure rate on time means it's a good sign for the company. Less than 100% would be meaning that the company is not closing the product complaints within the due date. Next, I'm going to move on to closure rate for deviations and CAPAs. CAPAs stand for corrective actions and preventive actions. So we see the number of CAPAs closed on time versus the total CAPAs closed, and same thing for deviation. We also have the data visualized on a chart to see the same thing. And we can drill down on the total number of deviations closed in this case to see the details of which department, division, incident, and so on for the closed deviations. And finally, I can look at past due execution of regulatory commitments. This tells us for each of the inspection entities how many regulatory commitments are open, how many are overdue, how many are closed, what is the total number, and then percentage of completed regulatory commitments, and how much percentage is overdue. So with that, I want to take you back to the overview. So any company that comes under FDA regulated space, pharma manufacturing companies and food and dairy processing companies that have to comply with FDA regulations would be benefiting from this compliance analytics solution. And especially if you use Trackwise as your compliance solution, our compliance analytics solution is pre-integrated with Trackwise to extract data from there, load into a data warehouse, and provide you business intelligence capabilities on the Trackwise data. With that, we come to the end of this session. Thank you.